Welcome back to Comics with Drew. I'm Drew, and this is my review of World's Finest #1. Yes, this is actually something that is a bit of a surprise to me. I did not actually anticipate on doing a review of this book, but weird things happen, because I'd been seeing covers that had been making the rounds on Twitter where people were saying, "Oh, look at the stupid cover," and quite frankly, I have been disappointed with Superman books in general. I am not a fan of Son of Kal-El. I have serious concerns about the character and the direction that they have taken with it, and it has nothing to do with the gay thing or the bisexual thing. It has nothing to do with that. There are other major issues I have with that character in that book, and quite frankly, I'm a bit of a comic purist in the fact that, again, as I mentioned in some other reviews recently, that Superman is Clark Kent. It's not John Kent. John Kent is not Superman. So if anything, he's Superboy. But the same thing with all these other different characters taking on the mantle of a major character. So, but anyway, so that's a bit of another video for another time. But with Action Comics having Superman on some war world where he's like some kind of prisoner, it's not my jam, right? That's not what I read Superman for. That's not what I read Action Comics for, and I am certainly not going to pay $4.99 or $5 to read those storylines. And so frankly, as a Superman fan, I am a Superman fan, I have been disappointed and I've been disinclined to say the least to read any Superman books. And I don't read Action Comics presently, and the only Batman book that I have on my pull is the regular Batman issue, and that's because the art has been fantastic and the writing has been pretty solid on it recently. And the other fact of the matter is that with all of the main DC books being $4.99 or $5, it's like it's too much money. I mean that you don't think about it really, but $5 adds up to a lot of money in a hurry. Instead of getting, 4 books for $20, or instead of getting 5 books for $20, you're getting 4 books for $20. Is that right? Is that the math? What do you think about that? 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 4 is 20. Yes, that's correct. You can see I was not a math major. I did that without a calculator. Yay me. Yes, a little bit of applause for myself. So that being said, I had heard that World's Finest was coming out and Mark Waid was writing it. Now, Mark Waid is a phenomenal writer, okay? So I want you to, what I would like to recommend to people really is to put aside their opinions about comic creators and how they behave in social media or how they behave in their interpersonal relationships or their work relationships. I want you to set those things aside, okay? And focus on what product they're putting out and judge them by the product that they're putting out. So when you watch basketball, right, and you're a fan of Michael Jordan, you're not a fan of Michael Jordan because of how he plays golf, or you're not a fan of Michael Jordan because of how he, takes his wife out to dinner or his girlfriend out to dinner or how he treats kids. You're a fan because of what he does on the court. And what you should do with artists is that you should, and writers, is that you should focus on what they're doing on the court, so to speak. So that's what I would recommend that you do. So that being said, Mark Waid, regardless of what you think about Mark Waid, is a phenomenal writer, and he has been for a very, very long time. So when I had heard that he was going to be writing World's Finest, I was like, well, this looks good, right? But then I saw all the silly covers, namely this particular cover, boom, right here. That's a stupid cover. I'm sorry, it's just a stupid cover. But when I was in the comic shop today, because I was going in to pick up my pull, I saw this on the stand and I was like, that's an awesome cover. This right here is actually my favorite iteration of the Batman costume, with the gray and the blue and the yellow. I don't actually like, the extra points there on the side of the bat symbol, but generally speaking, this is my Batman, right? This is my favorite kind of Batman. My first Batman comic book was the what was it? It was like a little paperback, and it was called Untold Tales of the Batman, or The Untold Legend of the Batman. It was my first real introduction to Batman. It's the first Batman comic book I ever read, even though it wasn't really necessarily a comic book. It was kind of weirdly formatted in a kind of like a trade, not even a trade paperback, but like, a paperback in the 80s. So, but that being said, when I saw this and I saw it was World's Finest, and I'm a sucker for starting off a book on a new series. So like a number one, it's like, this looks really good. And let me tell you what, this is a great comic book, Also, let me back before I get too much further into it. $3.99. You see that? $3.99. This is what you should be paying for a comic book. You shouldn't be paying any more for a comic book than this. So that's something that also drew me to buying the book. So fantastic cover, right? It's got the red, it's got the blue, it's got the Superman, it's got the Batman. Number one, $3.99 by a great writer and a great artist. What is there not to like, right? So I picked it up, so it's worth a shot. And let me tell you what, this is a phenomenal comic book. It is all gas, no brakes. It is just action wall to wall with a lot of surprises and a lot of characters that you wouldn't really expect to see showing up here. There's a lot of surprises in this book, and I can't recommend it enough. Like I've said previously, you can have your beefs about the different comics and what they're doing, what DC's doing, what Marvel's doing, but when someone puts out a good product, pay for the product, buy the product, because then they'll know that this is the product that you want. A lot of people are gonna try to put out stuff that, kind of is their wish fulfillment, with these IPs that we all love and hold dear. But when someone actually puts something out that actually respects the characters and is well written and well paced, you should support that. And so I would recommend that if you like Superman and you like Batman and you're traditional fans of Superman and Batman, then you should buy this book. This is a great book. So, when I was a kid, my first introduction to Batman and Superman was the Super Friends on Saturday morning cartoons. They used to have those. I don't know if they have them anymore. But that's how I, had my first introduction to who Superman was and who Batman was and who Robin was. I think this is kind of like the comic book variation of that. It's the ultimate example of how this could exist in comics when done perfectly well. And so it's not Super Friends, obviously, but it reminds me of that kind of camaraderie that, was cool in the 70s and the 80s, but, written with a more mature and more, and when I say mature, I mean logical, story-driven method. I don't mean by like mature and as in mature audiences only. That's not what this book is for. This book you can actually give to, your 7-year-old, and so there's nothing wrong with this book. This is just it's the world's finest comic book. Yeah, I'm going to go with that pun right there. So I would highly recommend this. It's got a fantastic surprise and characters that show up that you would not expect. I'm not going to spoil the book for you. Buy this cover because, let's just be honest, this is an awesome cover, right? Don't buy any of these other stupid covers, and don't fall into the trap of, I don't like X writer or I don't like X artist. Just buy the book, right? Just buy the book. If you enjoy Superman comics and you enjoy Batman comics, this is the book for you. I cannot recommend it enough. These covers just a little bit misleading because there's some things here that are not actually in this particular issue. But there's nothing I can't complain about anything in this issue. The writing is fantastic, the pacing is fantastic, the story just goes by. It's a wonderful book that ends in a really solid cliffhanger, and I can't recommend it enough. So, World's Finest #1 by Mark Waid, and it's only $4. Go buy it, right? What are you waiting for? If you want DC to return to, the DC of yesteryear, this should be your jam. So, I recommend the book. It's great, and I've got it on my pull now. As a matter of fact, that's how much I like it. And we'll see where it goes. So I'll keep putting up reviews of these as they come out, and I'll let you know when I stop it on my pull because it starts sucking. So thanks again for watching Comics with Drew. I'm Drew, and I'll see you next time.